All right, so this is the end, almost the end, or around the end of the first day of the 2019 7-day roguelike challenge. I had done a recording when I started working about 1 day ago, but the sound quality was pretty bad, so I don't think I will be incorporating that. Uh, but yeah, the idea is to do this instead of streaming my coding sessions, which may not be very interesting, and also I don't have the time to do like a very long continuous coding sessions because of life. I will just do like a summary of each day and then paste all of them together. So, well, yeah, the idea first off, the idea of my entry for this year is actually pretty simple, and it's based on my recent interpretation of the relationship between Dungeons and Dragons and Rogue, and how Rogue was a solution maybe that uh, these developers thought of a problem, which was having an automated dungeon master. That's at least the idea behind the article that I wrote. So yeah, I'm hoping to do something in this entry that is simulating a dungeon master, but in a very different way than Rogue and all traditional roguelikes do. And we will see how it goes. So I had some ideas in my head uh, when I started, but now that I have been working on it for a day, well, I started to discovering some stuff. Um, so yeah, the first thing that I did was creating like a very simple JavaScript module which described it's like a single file. So basically, what we have here is a map of a map of different locations with connections between them, and so yeah, it's like a kind of graph, I guess. But the nodes don't have a position in space. It's very abstract, and each node has connections to other nodes, so the player can navigate between them. And I also created, well, these are just some functions to process that data and make it usable. And but the important part here is that I created, this is handmade, um, a kind of plot line. So this is very basic. Basically, you have to defeat Dracula, and in order to do that, you have to go through different small adventures. In here, they are modeled as events. But yeah, I think the next step, or what I'm currently working on, is trying to model this more as adventures instead of events. But yeah, basically, the way that I'm doing this is, or the way that I commonly do procedural generation is I create a handmade structure of what I want to achieve, and then I try to make a component or an algorithm that can create something similar. Um, so yeah, this is like a sequence of different kinds of steps that the player does in order to complete the game, but he can also die. And the other thing that I have is just some very basic engine, or yeah, very simple engine to control the state of the game, where the player is and what he can do, that sort of stuff. Right now, this is just using the JavaScript console, um, because yeah, I'm not even thinking now on how this will be, or how this would look in the end. I had the idea that maybe an artist that I have worked with may do some high quality art for the game, but he's busy with other projects, so I don't think that will happen. Anyways, I will show you what I had just some hours after starting. So here it is. You can see it here in Chrome's console. Um, Basically, player chooses what to do. So the game tells you where you are, and then you can go to different places. And when you go to a different place, it tells you the new options that you have. For example, here we are going to go to a town and then to a pub. And then in that pub, we met a middle-aged man. I am Louis, Dracula killed my wife, help me avenge her. And he tells us about an old man living in the forest. So basically, the idea with this is instead of having that kind of Dungeons and Dragons adventure where you are diving into a dungeon to retrieve an amulet or something, the idea is to make something more similar to uh, playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends. So you get somewhere and you are and the D&D sorry the dungeon master has an idea already on his head of a story that will be unfolded with the actions that the players do. And I am not a DM. I am not even a good or a regular Dungeons and Dragons or RPG player, but I will try to model that from an outside perspective from what I believe they do. So, anyways, here we can leave the pub and then we are going to go find that old man living in the forest. So, we go to the forest road and then we go into the dark forest and we keep exploring the dark forest. So, we met the old man. He tells us that we need to find some items. He doesn't know where the crown of laurel is, but he knows that the killer whip is in the tomb of Simon, but we don't know where that is. So we go back to the civilization and let's go to the forest road, then to the town, and then to the pub again. I will keep hitting the pub well until we find something. So this guy tells us where the Simon's tomb is, and we can also get some clues here about the laurel um, crown. I think maybe we already did. Not sure. Oh, here it is. So the crown of laurel, my grandmother wore it. You can find her at her tomb in Kakaka. So we can go to that town via the forest road, Kakaka Plaza, and then to the graveyard. And we found the crown of laurel. So this required that we knew it was there before. And then we can go to the back to Kakeke or whatever, Kakake, and into the mountain road, into the Mount Haya, and here, because we knew about it already, we find the entrance to Simon's tomb. We can dive into it and find the killer whip, and now we are ready to go to Dracula's castle via the rocky road, the Dracula Hall, and then we killed Dracula and we won. So in theory, well, that was kind of that worked well. Then I tried to make uh, just something that was able to generate this, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm kind of stuck there. It's not easy. I will try to tackle like a very linear plot line, um, but yeah, it's not been easy. That's where we are now. Maybe for tomorrow, for day two, I will have something working, maybe at least something simple. The idea is to keep it very simple because, well, I know that this is not something new. Someone probably did this already, but it's fun trying to do it. And another thing that I have wondered while trying to find a way to solve this is I may be diving into the artificial intelligence territory, which I am not an expert at, like in real artificial intelligence, not just like nested if um, statements or things like that, state machines. No, I mean like a real artificial intelligence that can model both what a dungeon master is planning to do and how he responds to the input from the players. Well, but yeah, I will try to do like a very practical solution to this, and we will see how that goes. So that was day one update, and I will see you tomorrow.